Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the Hot and Cold podcast. I'm your host as always, David Miller, joined by my lovely co-host, Andrew Watkins. We're going to have a bit more of a normal episode today. No guests. We're just going to be talking football, talking basketball as per usual. So with that, let's go ahead and start out with a question. We didn't do that last week. Andrew, who is your favorite college basketball player of all time?
Len Bias, easily.
Len Bias. Okay. What about your favorite that is played during your lifetime?
Jalen Smith.
Okay.
I loved his role when he was playing for Maryland.
Okay, that's solid. So, as a North Carolina fan, my favorite all time is Jordan. Obviously, he's the reason I'm a Carolina fan. Him and my dad. And my favorite that I've gotten to see play is either Tyler Zeller or Luke May, because those white boys from UNC, they be hitting different.
Yeah.
And speaking of white boys from UNC that be hitting different, Brady Manick is that dude. He is. Listen, I admittedly didn't watch a whole lot of college ball during the regular season because I never do. But I watched I watched like 7 or 8 games. I watched the Duke games and things like that. And Brady Manick was really good, and I was really impressed by him. He was a transfer this year. And then the tournament started, and Brady Manick decided he was going to cement his name in the long list of white UNC big men that are good for no reason. Like, legitimately, in the last 10 years, or the last little bit over a decade now, you have Tyler Hansbrough, you have Luke May, you have Tyler Zeller, and now you have Brady Manick, who is one of the coldest shooters UNC's had in a long time. It was the Duke game against Coach K. I think I talked about this before, where at the beginning of the game, he hit a 3 and looked at Duke's bench and yelled, "Bang, bang, motherfucker." That's the coldest thing any North Carolina player has ever said. But unfortunately, the refs don't like Brady Manick as much as I do. Because against Baylor, which is the pretty much the sole college game I want to talk about here, they completely screwed my boy over. He had like 23, 25 points, I think, in the first half. And then he got thrown out off the softest elbow I have ever seen. It was so soft. And like that ended, that was a butterfly effect. UNC was up by like 25, and Baylor ended up coming back, and they tied the game, and then UNC had to clamp up in overtime and won, which they held Baylor to 1 of 11 shooting in overtime, which was absolutely wild. And shout out to Montrezl Styles, by the way. Shout out to Montrezl Styles. He had a clutch 3 at the beginning of overtime that kind of gave UNC that momentum. But some of the things from this UNC game here, I'm trying to read my notes. Yeah, so Armando Bacot, the other big man for UNC, absolute demon on the boards, but can't hit a free throw, and I hate it. If a player can't hit a free throw, you got to fix that. That's like, it's the charity stripe for a reason. Everybody can't be Shaq.
It's called a free throw.
Yeah, exactly. It's a free throw. If you can't hit a free throw, I don't know. I love the fundamentals of basketball. I'm an old school basketball fan. And if you can't hit from the charity stripe, you gotta get your ass out of here. That being said, I love Armando Bacot. Let's see here. Yeah, there were 43 total fouls in this game, 21 of which were from UNC. So I guess the refs were being fair and they're over penalizing this game. You have 4 guys who fouled out. Caleb Love from UNC, Flo Thamba, which is a dope name. Fucking Flo Thamba. James Akinjo and Matthew Mayer. Listen. Okay, Matthew Mayer from Baylor is my Christian Laettner. I hate that dude for no reason. I just hate him. That dumbass and his stupid mullet. You should not have a mullet. Point blank period. If you have a mullet, fix it. Shave your head. Mullets are the dumbest thing in the world, and I hate that kid for having one. And he just seemed so smug. Just so smug. And I hate him. And I'm so glad UNC knocked him off. Oh my god. Yeah, that's it for my little unorganized UNC rant. I didn't know where I wanted to go with that. I just wanted to say UNC good, Baylor bad. We upset Baylor and are going to win the national championship. Um, what else is there going on in college basketball? Oh, St. Peter's is stupid. Why are they a thing? I love it.
I
But
love
why
it
are
so
they a
much.
thing?
They're literally playing a high school like court. Like
Yeah,
their home court looks like a high school court, and they upset Kentucky. That's nuts.
yeah. The St. Peter's Peacocks, which makes it so much better.
It's so bad.
What do you think? You don't like that? You're not rocking with the Peacocks?
I'm rocking with the Peacocks, but it's just funny that the Peacocks, the team called the Peacocks,
Yeah.
came in and beat #2 Kentucky and
Yeah.
busted brackets everywhere immediately.
Yeah. See, okay, off topic a little bit. Having a unique name in college basketball is so nice. Because there's so many teams that have just generic names, like the Wildcats.
Bobcats,
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Bulldogs.
okay, Bulldogs is actually kind of nice. I like
It's
the
kind of good,
Bulldogs.
but
I'm
there's
rocking with
literally
the
like
Bulldogs.
40. There's like 40.
Okay,
Bulldogs.
yeah, yeah. But like Wildcats, like they're in High School Musical or something, you know. It's just like every high school is called the Wildcats. There's a reason they chose the Wildcats for that movie. You know, there's a reason why colleges are called by their town or city or, you know, wherever, state, rather than their name, because their names all suck. They're all
Yeah.
terrible. Even North Carolina, I mean, I love the Tar Heels, but like, that's goofy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a ram. Yeah, it's a ram. Why are we called the Tar Heels? You know, I'm probably missing something. I'm probably stupid. I'm a casual when it comes to college ball. So I'm probably missing something. I'm stupid. But like Peacocks, that's dope. There's not another team called the Peacocks. That's awesome. Then what else happened? Oh, that kid from Illinois that got the tech for a dunk. Did you see that?
Yeah, refs were wild.
Yeah, he held on the rim too long, and they gave him a tech for it.
Wasn't it that he was swinging? And
yeah,
if he would have died.
Yeah, if he would have let go of the rim any sooner, he would have flew into the crowd. He would have killed himself and like 3 people because it was a big dude.
Yeah.
And like I get that it's a rule in the NBA that you can't, or the NCAA that you can't hold on to the rim for too long. But like, cut the kid some slack. He would have hurt himself and others. Yeah. He would have been a straight up projectile into the crowd if he wouldn't have stopped himself. I don't know. The refs, and there were a couple other games too where the refs were really, really bad. I think that Illinois game, the refs were all over it like the whole time. I don't know. The refs have been in a silly, goofy mood, and I don't know why. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add with college, Andrew? Have you been keeping up with the tournament?
Not that much, but from what I'm seeing, there's like an incredible amount of upsets
this
year. It's so weird. And like a lot of I don't do brackets and stuff, but a lot of my friends do brackets, and they're all talking about how angry they are that their brackets got 1 busted immediately, and 2 that they're still going downhill because all these teams that they're picking are not winning.
Yeah. See, I did one bracket, and I just wanted to do it so I could have North Carolina winning, so when they win, I can brag about it. But like the rest of it, I made some goofy decisions. Like I had Colgate beating Wisconsin in the first round because toothpaste school and things like that. I somehow didn't pick St. Peter's over Kentucky by doing the goofy names. I guess I didn't know that they were called the Peacocks at the time. Because if I would have known they were called the Peacocks, I definitely would have picked them over Kentucky. But yeah, the tournaments, I mean, I love March Madness, but it's kind of goofy this year. It's definitely been goofy with the upsets. Speaking of goofy, free agency's been wild with the NFL. That's the big thing we're going to talk about today. I have a couple teams here written down with the moves that they've made that I want to talk about. But before that, we can talk about some of the like standalone moves the team's made. Starting out, I got to get the guy out of the way. Allen Robinson signed with the Rams for, was it 3 years, $46.5 million. Solid signing. Good Lord, I'm lagging on my screen. I don't know if that's going to pick up or not. But anyways, I hate Allen Robinson a lot. I don't know if I've talked about that on here or not, but he completely gave up on the Bears his final season in Chicago. And, you know, you can say what you want about him not wanting to play for the team because the GM was holding him back and the coaches were holding him back and all that kind of stuff, whatever. You don't give up on a football team. You simply don't do it. If you're a professional, you need to be able to look at things professionally, realize this is your livelihood, and not play around with it because you're petty. And that Allen Robinson decided to do the opposite. He's a diva. I don't care what anyone says. He is a straight up diva. There's a play that I always point to of Justin Fields. It was, I can't remember if it was a design run or not, but he's scrambling out of the pocket and he takes off. And there's one guy in front of him, and if you block that guy, he's gone. And Allen Robinson is the last guy to block, and it's up on the sideline. You have the guy here, Robinson's heading towards him, right out of bounds. Just walks right out of bounds, lets that guy come down and hit Fields. Just out of pure laziness and pettiness. He literally just had to chip the guy. He didn't even have to throw a full block when he just let it happen. But now he's got his wish. He has a real quarterback, and he's going to go succeed because he's still a talented receiver, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it resulted in them trading away Robert Woods to the Titans for a 6th-round pick, which a lot of people are saying is a bad trade. It wasn't. They had to get rid of his contract somehow. 6th-round pick, so the Titans take on the whole deal. That's fine and whatnot. The Rams wide receiver situation is interesting because they had an abundance, and now they're going to bring Odell back. So basically they're just swapping out an injured Robert Woods for Allen Robinson, and that's crazy on paper. The Rams are going to have a stupid receiver core. So let's kick it with another former Bear going to another team. Mitchell Trubisky is a Pittsburgh Steeler, and it breaks my heart. Andrew, since you're a Giants fan and you wanted Trubisky, let me hear your thoughts on this first.
I mean, I said I wanted him, then I didn't really want him. Like either way, Daniel Jones is still going to be in that spot. But I really would have wanted him, and it really sucks so bad that the Steelers got him. Worst team he probably could have gone to. Definitely the worst team he could have gone to, actually. But yeah, I had hope because I've said it before. I'm sick of Daniel Jones. I'm sick of him being on the Giants, and I was hoping for a new face, but worst possible situation happened.
Yeah. Well, you did get a new face. You got Teddy Bridgewater is going to be your backup quarterback. And I don't know if you know Teddy Bridgewater's legacy. Or no, I'm sorry, not Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor. Oh God, those are 2 bad quarterbacks to mix up. They both start with T and they wear the number 5. That's going to be my excuse. Tyrod Taylor. Do you know his history with being a backup or being a projected starter?
Did he get poked in the lung?
Yeah. There have been multiple instances where he was the starting quarterback and something unfortunate happened that put him on the bench. And the quarterback that was backing him up was some sort of rookie or young quarterback, and they came out and balled out, and they're some of the best quarterbacks in football now. So one of them was Justin Herbert, where the medical the guy off the medical staff stabbed him in the lung.
Awful.
God, who was the other one? Deshaun Watson was the other one. He was the starter, and Deshaun Watson came in. I think it was Watson, but there have been multiple instances of this. So basically what I'm saying is Daniel Jones is about to turn into an all-pro quarterback because Tyrod Taylor's on the Giants.
And we're fine with that.
That's how football works. But back to Trubisky, right? The truth of the matter is, as a Mitchell Trubisky fan, as someone who has vouched for this man since he came into the league in 2017, he's not good. He is not good. Flat out, point blank period, not good. I'm not just saying this because he's on the Steelers. I've been saying this for about a year now. Ever since he left the Bears, and I could push my biases and my narratives and whatnot aside, he's not a good quarterback. And the reason for that is he has terrible pocket presence. He can't read a defense. He has terrible mechanics. He has a subpar arm at best. The game just, as a whole, it just moves too quickly for him. And that's an issue that all young quarterbacks have. When you first come into the NFL, that's the biggest issue because it's such a big step from college to the NFL. But most quarterbacks, they get over that in a year or so. You look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert, young quarterbacks that are lighting up the league right now. It took them about a year to get over that. Justin Herbert, it didn't even take him that long. He came in against the Chiefs and almost beat Patrick Mahomes in a shootout. But you see young quarterbacks struggle. We're going to see Trevor Lawrence take that step this year. You might see Fields take it. You might see Zach Wilson take it. The game just moves too quickly for them, and there are some things that don't translate perfectly, but you should be able to fix that. Trubisky's going into year 6, and he hasn't. He just flat out hasn't. He was making rookie mistakes 4 years into the NFL, and I find it very hard to believe that 1 year as a backup quarterback is going to change that. I love Mitch. I want him to succeed, as much as that pains me to say. If he succeeds with the Steelers, I will be happy, but it's not going to happen. It's just flat out not going to happen. He's the 4th best quarterback in that division. We'll get into the guy that just got added to that division in a moment, but you have, good Lord, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson there, and the other guy. And Mitchell Trubisky just doesn't stack up to them. And I genuinely think Pittsburgh's a team that could still take a quarterback in the first round. If a guy like Kenny Pickett, or I don't think Malik Willis will be there. Maybe he slides. I doubt it. But if Kenny Pickett's sitting there at 20, or Matt Corral, I would not be shocked at all if Pittsburgh took them, because Trubisky's on a 2-year deal. And a 2-year deal, that's a bridge quarterback deal. They didn't sign Trubisky to be their long-term starter. They know he's not good. He is a bridge quarterback. And I don't understand why people don't get that. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. People are delusional, I suppose. But that other quarterback, Deshaun Watson, is now a Cleveland Brown. And Deshaun Watson got traded for, I believe it was 3 first-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, and a third, and a fifth, or something stupid. They got a ridiculous haul back for him, which is great for Houston. And the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. That's the largest guaranteed contract for any NFL player ever. And it's going to Deshaun Watson.
Awful.
Of all the people that could have gotten paid all that money, it's the man with 22 not proven allegations. And I don't, we have talked a lot about Deshaun Watson on here, so I don't want to get too much into it, but being found not guilty in an American court of law does not mean you are innocent. It just means that there was not substantial enough evidence to prove that you are without a doubt guilty. Because in the American legal system, you are innocent until proven guilty. And the only way to prove that someone's guilty in these kind of cases are photo evidence, video evidence, an eyewitness, or DNA evidence. And, they have a little he said, she said type of thing. There's a bunch of people that were involved and whatnot. But you can't prove it without physical evidence, and they just didn't have it. And so, of course, it's not going to go through. That's how it works. And it's disgusting that that's how the American legal system treats these types of cases. Even stepping away from Watson, just in general. As a general thing, even if it's just your average Joe who does something horrendous like that, that's how it gets treated, and it's disgusting. And the fact of the matter is, even without evidence, I just find it hard to believe that all 22 women are lying. If even one woman's lying, he should never be able to touch a football again. Or if even one's telling the truth, rather. But that's neither here nor there. Deshaun Watson's a hell of a football player. God kind of wasted talent on him, if you ask me. But yeah, he's going to elevate the Browns, and they're going to be a really good football team, unfortunately. Something else interesting about that real quick. I don't want to get too much into Watson, like I said, but I can't help it because it's like the biggest story right now. The Cleveland Browns and the other teams involved in the Deshaun Watson trade rumors, the Falcons, the Saints, all these other teams, not one of them contacted the lawyer of the 22 women. Not one of them.
Yeah, that's so bad.
How do you not do that? How do you not do your due diligence and contact the defense attorney? Or not the defense, the prosecution.
Yeah.
How fucking ignorant can you be? They're cherry-picking evidence. They're cherry-picking details. And it's disgusting. And the fact, Deshaun Watson can still get suspended. He still has the civil cases. He can still get suspended. He might not play, half the season, maybe even the whole season next year. And the Browns know that. His contract's set up to where he only gets paid $1 million his first year in Cleveland. Yeah. I don't know. It does not sit right with me. I love the NFL. It is arguably my favorite thing there is in this life, but it's so hard to support it sometimes. And the Browns and Deshaun Watson are making it really hard to support it right now. But that being said, we'll step away from the negative and let's talk about the Giants. They picked up a guard, Mark Glowinski, who is really good, really solid. Why is my Discord going off? I don't know why that's happening. Anyways, he's a really solid guard, and he's getting paid 3 years, $20 million. So that's a big pickup for the Giants. Andrew, have you been following what they've been doing?
Not really. All I've seen is that we're making like decent enough moves where I'm not like, what? Or I'm not
Right.
like, let's go. It's all like, it's all stuff that's gonna, I don't know. It's like the type of moves you make when you don't really have a vision, which is what is worrying me.
Yeah.
Cause like what I'm saying is like Giants should go full rebuild, but we're also picking up these decent enough players where it looks like you want to win now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, the thing is, okay, this is my philosophy, and I will use a team as an example. The Jacksonville Jaguars. They've spent a ton of money in free agency. I have 6 major signings, and they've made other signings. And we're looking at Brandon Sheriff, who's one of the better guards in football. Paid him 3 years, $49 million. Christian Kirk, who is now the third highest or fourth highest paid receiver in football. Sorry, because Devontae Adams got his money. He's all right. He's like a wide receiver two at best. He's the fourth highest paid receiver in football. 4 years, $72 million. Darius Williams, 3 years, $30 million. Foyesade Oluokun, 3 years, $45 million. I don't know how to say this guy's first name. He goes by Foley, and then his last name's Fedakowski. He's a defensive lineman from the Jets. 3 years, $30 million. And Evan Ingram, former New York Giant, 1 year, $9 million. They are paying out the ass for guys who are like solid starters. They are paying these guys star money to be like 20th best at their position at best. And that's the bad thing about free agency. Free agency is an excuse for teams to overpay mediocre players or overpay decent players. And it always happens. That's how free agency works. If you're a really good football team that has a little bit of money to spend and you have a hole or two to fix, by all means. You know, if you're a team like the Chiefs, who needed secondary help, they paid Justin Reed, who's a really good safety. That's fine. But if you're the Jaguars, who need everything, your team is a mess. You do not go out and try to build your team entirely through free agency. Because it is, oh my goodness, it is not going to work. It is not going to work under any circumstances. Because all you're going to end up doing is getting stuck with big contracts for players that don't deserve that money, and then you're not going to have the money to spend to fix other holes. And I don't understand why more people don't realize this. You look at coaches and you look at GMs who have approached free agency this way. Bill Belichick, apart from the year where he just kind of threw money at the wall to build around Cam Newton. So the majority of the Patriots dynasty, the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, apart from Tom Brady, but that's like a once-in-a-lifetime signing. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Rams. These are the best teams in football, or, you know, at least historically, or like the past 20 years with like the Steelers. But the other teams I mentioned are the best teams in football right now. And they don't do this. They build through the draft, they make trades, and then they fix a whole, or, you know, a thing or two here or there through free agency. And that should be how teams approach this. But they don't, and they don't succeed. And I don't know why people don't realize this. Because I go on Twitter, the Bears are a team that have not done a lot in free agency. And Bears fans just sit and bitch and moan and complain. And that's not what they need to be doing. This team is a mess. They need to fix their receiver core, their offensive line, their defensive line, their linebacker core, their corners, their safeties. They need to fix everything. And they want the GM to go out and spend $30 million on a tackle. That's not the right thing to do. Like, sure, that would be nice to have if you have everything else figured out, but they don't. So instead, the Bears GM, I've loved the Bears free agency, by the way. He went out and got a linebacker, a couple receivers, an offensive lineman, a couple defensive linemen, and they're all on cheap deals. Nobody's making more than like $10 million over 2 or 3 years. None of them are over the age of 28. He's getting younger guys on cheaper deals that have upside. And if they end up playing well, you extend them later on. If they don't play well, you don't have to worry about them in a year or two because you didn't pay them a bunch of money and they're going to hit free agency. And I don't understand why more teams don't do that. I don't understand why that isn't just the consensus. I suppose, you get a GM that's on like a timeline or whatever. They have to do this by a certain point. Then I get it. But you have young GMs doing this, like the Jaguars GM. He's new. This is his first year as the GM or second year as the GM. That's ridiculous. The worst I've ever seen at doing this, by the way, at least in my experience, is Ryan Pace from the Bears. When he was the Bears GM, he would do it every year. He would come out the gate, spend like 40, 50 million on average football players, and then try to fix the Bears around Trubisky, and it never worked. It never worked. It just doesn't work. I don't know how to transition out of that, but basically, don't build your team through free agency. Build it through the draft, build it through trades, and then pick up the extra pieces along the way in free agency. That's what that's meant for. You're not supposed to revamp your entire roster through free agency, especially not in the first couple days. But back to the Bears. There's one signing I want to talk about, and to most people, it's going to seem extremely minuscule. But to me, it's very important. And that's the fact that the Chicago Bears have a fullback, a traditional fullback named Kari Blasingame, who came over from the Tennessee Titans, gave him a one-year deal worth $8 million, and I love it. We just had a fullback on the show. I love fullbacks. They need to be revived. Maybe not in the traditional sense, but God damn it, any team that doesn't have a fullback is invalid. That is the stance I am now taking. And the Bears have a fullback. So we love that. So here, what other free agency moves we have here? Oh, Tom Brady unretired. Why have we talked about that yet? Tom Brady's back. Dude's retirement lasted like 2 months. We went on this whole... Oh, God, that's not good. Hold on. The Bulls are down 16 against the Bucks right now at halftime. Hate that. Anyways, Tom Brady's back. He's playing football again. And the snowball effect occurred quickly. They brought back one of their corners. They brought back their center. They still got to bring back Gronk, and they just brought back Leonard Fournette. And they brought in Russell Gage, who's a good third receiver. So the Buccaneers are going to be contenders again. All their Vegas odds shot up like crazy once Brady came back. I don't understand it. I don't know why he came back so quickly.
Yeah, I don't know either. I thought it would be like the first 3 games of the season or something like that. Like he'd watch football again and then be like, "Oh man, I miss it so much." Nope.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him and I think it was Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the soccer players? They met at something. I think it was Ronaldo. I don't know soccer, so I have no idea. But it was Big Soccer Guy. And him and Big Soccer Guy were talking, and he was like, "Do you think you're going to come back to football?" And Brady just kind of looked at him like, eh. And then he announced his retirement like later that day, or announced his unretirement later that day. So everyone kind of knew about it before it happened. But that's crazy. That's crazy that Brady's already back. Obviously the Buccaneers are contending. So the Raiders did really good in free agency. They got themselves Chandler Jones, who's one of the better edge rushers in football. They got Bilal Nichols, who's pretty solid. He's coming over from Chicago. And they traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Davante Adams, who is the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah. Great pickup. Great pickup. I love Davante Adams so much.
Go ahead and talk about Davante Adams then, Andrew.
What?
I'm going to put you on the spot. Go ahead and talk about Davante Adams then. You haven't gotten to talk a lot yet. Go ahead. Just talk about him. Man. Oh, okay.
No, his route running's crazy, and he's the best fantasy wide receiver I've ever had. I've ever had the pleasure of having on my team.
Right. Is that it?
That's all. That's all I got.
Expert analysis from Andrew Watkins, ladies and gentlemen.
All knowledge right there.
But no, in all seriousness, I mean, yeah, I don't know why I'm lagging. I don't know what's going on. This podcast is everywhere today. I don't know what's wrong with this. It's coming out late. I can't keep my train of thought. I'm lagging. It's all me. I'm a mess today. And you're just sitting there looking pretty. That's what today's been. But anyways, Davante Adams for a first and a second. First of all, I hate the Packers, but that's great value. We saw Robert Woods, who is a solid receiver. Like, he's a genuine, really good receiver. He got traded for a future sixth. Granted, he's coming off an ACL tear, but my point is receivers don't have a lot of value. And them getting a first and a second for Devontae is huge. The Packers actually offered Devontae Adams the money that more money than the Raiders were willing to give him, and he declined it, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah,
because dude,
the drama.
Exactly, dude looked at Aaron Rodgers come back and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. Let me go play with my buddy. I'm done." Him and Derek Carr are like brothers in real life, and the two of them.
I love that.
There's my fucking Discord again. Why? Why is it going off? Can you hear it?
I can hear it a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, him and Derek Carr are like brothers, which is great.
He's breaking down.
I'm losing it. I'm absolutely losing it. That's the beauty of a podcast. We do this live. We don't get to edit it and whatnot because that's stupid. Why would you edit it? That's stupid.
Come on now.
Yeah, like we do a little trimming here at the beginning because it takes us a couple minutes to get ready, but we don't edit the middle of the podcast and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, they got the best receiver in football to pair with Derek Carr, and they need it because the AFC West is now stacked. You have, like the Chargers and the Raiders and the Chiefs were pretty solid going into the offseason. Now the Broncos are now Super Bowl contenders, and the Chargers are Super Bowl contenders, and the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders, and the Raiders might not make the playoffs, and they're a really good football team. Like the fact that there's going to be teams in the AFC that'll probably finish with like 9 or 10 wins and won't make the playoffs, when a team in the NFC is probably going to have like 7 or 8 wins and be like the 5 seed is hilarious because the NFC is so bad. It is so bad. Like, you look at the quarterback comparison in the AFC, you have Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, a list of like 10 guys. The NFC, you have Brady and Rodgers, and you have Stafford. And then who's next? Dak Prescott? And then who's after that? Jameis Winston and Kirk Cousins? Like, the drop-off is substantial. And, I was talking about, the Bears are going to be bad this year. If Justin Fields takes enough of a leap, the Bears might sneak into the playoffs. Like, that's how bad the NFC is right now. That's not me saying the Bears are going to look good. They might win 8 games and sneak into the playoffs, which would be hilarious because they have no business being there. And they would probably go get trounced by the Packers in the first round, and then I wouldn't get to hear the end of it. But yeah, the NFC sucks. The AFC is great. The Chargers, speaking of which, they went out and got J.C. Jackson, who is what Cowboys fans think Trayvon Diggs is. He's one of the best corners in football, probably. Jesus, I cannot talk today. Probably the 3rd or 4th best corner in football. They also got Sebastian Joseph Day, who, Andrew, do you know who that is? Out of curiosity?
No.
Okay.
I've heard you say his name before, but I don't know who he is.
Sebastian Joseph Day is a good player to judge whether or not people really know football. Because he plays nose tackle. He plays arguably the least sexy position in all of football. But the dude can change games. He is the best nose tackle in football by far. So if someone has a really good opinion of Sebastian Joseph Day, if they know a good bit about him, they probably know ball. If they don't know anything about Sebastian Joseph Day, they might be a little bit of a casual. Which, that's
awkward.
That's not aimed at you. But he's a good guy to really judge what people know about football. And him getting added to the Chargers, he's one of the best run defenders in football. The Chargers' number one weakness was their run defense. So you have Sebastian Joseph Day, you have Khalil Mack, who's probably the best edge defender in terms of run defense. Their run defense just became, on paper, assuming everyone can stay healthy, because that's going to be a big issue with the Chargers this year, is if everyone can stay healthy. If they can, they're going to have one of the best run defenses in football. And they already have one of the better offenses last year. You make the run defense better, they're going to be a scary football team. Let's see here. What else do we got here? The Steelers also added James Daniels, another Chicago Bear. He's nothing special. And Levi Wallace, who's a pretty solid corner. Oh, the Bengals completely revamped their offensive line. They got center Ted Harris, guard Alex Kappa, and offensive tackle Lau Collins. So Joe Burrow is not going to get sacked 34 times in 3 games next year, which is going to be great for them. We have Von Miller to the Bills, which came out of nowhere. Came out of absolutely nowhere. He was rumored to go
out of left field.
Yeah, he was rumored to go back to the Rams, and then he was posting on Twitter and Instagram about going back to the Broncos, saying, "I wonder if they'll give me my old locker back." And then he was talking to the Cowboys. He was negotiating with them and posted something on a story about the Cowboys, and then just out of left field, he was just like, "Oh, I'm a Bill now," and they gave him 6 years, $120 million, only $32 million of it guaranteed. A lot of it's backloaded, so they have the opportunity to not have to pay him near as much because he's a 30-something-year-old edge rusher, and you don't want to be paying him for that long. Because if he served out that whole contract, he'd be like 39 when it finished out, which would be insane. Also, he is the only player in NFL history to be a defensive player and get 2 contracts worth over $100 million, which is absolutely insane. But if anyone was going to get it, it would be him, because he is probably the best edge defender I've seen in my lifetime. And that's like the most valuable position on defense. So what else we got here? Hassan Redick went to the Eagles. Really good signing for them. DJ Chark to the Lions. Give whoever their quarterback is next year some targets. We have Randy Gregory, who signed with the Cowboys, backed out, and then signed with the Broncos, which is hilarious because the Cowboys get screwed over and Denver gets a really good edge rusher. And then Zadarius Smith did the same thing to the Ravens, then ended up going to the Vikings. Oh, and then here's the good stuff, the quarterback carousel. So we talked about Deshaun Watson, which leaves Baker Mayfield to do God knows what. We don't know what's going to happen with him. He might not get traded, which would suck because Baker deserves to start. And first of all, the Browns did him so dirty. They did him so dirty. And teams don't want him. The Seahawks apparently have called about him, and the Panthers were in on him and aren't now. So he probably won't have a team next year, and he's going to be a backup, which is stupid because he should be starting. If Mitchell Trubisky is starting in the NFL, Baker Mayfield should be starting. And people are going to say that Trubisky's better than Mayfield, and they're just out of their mind. Matt Ryan got traded to the Colts for a 3rd-round pick, which is a big-time move. Obviously, the Falcons ate like $40 million in dead cap, which is crazy, but they had to move on. They can take a quarterback at 8. The Colts get themselves a quarterback for a 3rd-round pick. And, I mean, Matt Ryan's like a top 15 guy, so that helps them. And then Jameis Winston went back to the Saints. So the offseason's been absolutely insane. There's been a whole lot of movement. But, we're behind, so it's kind of hard to say anything fresh about it. Because everything I just said has been said 50 times, and anything we could come up with has been said 50 times. So let's move on to the NBA. Let's talk about the NBA. And Andrew, I want to ask you first, what are your thoughts on the Bulls right now?
I feel awful because my prediction was that there would be title contenders, and they're not showing that at all. I actually made a TikTok. I haven't posted it yet, but they're like 0-15 against top 3 seeds in either conference. And what I said in the video was that could be just because of injuries, or it could be just because they're not good enough of a team to play these tight teams. And going into the playoffs very soon, it's not very promising to see stuff like that, to see stats like that, because you're going to be playing those teams every night. And if you're 0-15 against those teams, then what are you going to be in the playoffs? 0-4, and then you're done.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I personally think a lot of it's injuries. But again, I'm a casual, and I'm extremely biased, so you would know better than I would. But I do think a lot of it's injuries. We haven't seen this team at full capacity, really. The other night, they kind of were, but even then they weren't at full capacity, and they won. I can't remember who it was against, but it was Patrick Williams' first game back, and they won. And they're like, we were talking about it before we started recording, they're like 6-1 with Patrick Williams. And when you have that full team healthy, you're going to be able to put out a lineup of Lonzo, who we haven't seen in forever. But he's supposed to be back for the playoffs. So you'll have Lonzo and Levine and DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Vooch. And that's your problem right there as the center. Vucevic, he sucks. Vooch is absolutely terrible. And I don't care what anyone says. He is absolutely dog water. Dude can't play defense for shit.
Yeah.
And Patrick Williams being back is going to be able to help that a little bit. But he can't guard Joel Embiid. He can't guard Giannis. He can't guard Durant. Actually, no, he can't. No, he can't. So that's the problem. The Bulls don't have like an elite defender. Like Patrick Williams could be one, but he's not yet.
Yeah, and he's not big enough to guard these super dominant big men
Exactly.
in the East now.
Yeah, if the Bulls go up against the 76ers, they're screwed. You know, Joel Embiid has never lost to the Bulls. And if they go up against them in the playoffs, I don't think that's going to change. I mean, the Sixers might not sweep him, but he's going to go off every night because the Bulls don't have a center. The best center they have on the team is goddamn Tristan Thompson. He's been playing better than Vooch. And we signed him this season. Yeah, but he's better at it than Vooch. The Bulls' bigs consist of Vucevic, who is, again, he's a shell of himself. He can still score a little bit, but he's a shell of himself. And Tristan Thompson and Tony motherfucking Bradley, who, as a North Carolina fan and a Bulls fan, is dog shit. Tony Bradley is one of the worst centers I have ever seen play basketball in the NBA. And it breaks my heart to say that because I love the guy. He was one of my favorite players at UNC. But he sucks. He is terrible. He would average like 3 boards as a center off the bench, even starting some nights. He would average like 3 boards in like 20 minutes of playing. What the fuck are you doing if you're a 7-footer getting 3 boards in a game? What is the point of you being out there? Like, it's ridiculous. The Bulls are in such a bad spot right now because of their bigs. And that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to go into this offseason, and they're going to have to move probably Vucevic and Kobe White or Io, one of their young guards, for a half-decent center. And then you're losing out on that guard depth that has been so good for them. Being able to play Io and Kobe and Zach and Caruso and Lonzo back when he was actually on the team, or back when he was playing, that was so big for them. And they're just not going to be able to do it now, and that's going to hurt them greatly. But they got to make some sort of move because you cannot go into next year because they're not going to go far in the playoffs. You can't go into next year with them or with Vooch as your starting center. You can't do it. You need a real center. And I hate to say it, but we lost the goddamn Wendell Carter trade because he's been balling out for the Magic, and I hate that because I hate Wendell Carter. I didn't want him on the Bulls because he's a Duke guy, and I hate Duke. But he's better than Vooch. They should have kept him over Vooch.
I low-key thought that when the trade was happening because, like, even in 2K, I was like, this guy's a baller. This guy's an amazing defender. That's how I get most of my information from, like, in the past. I just play past 2Ks, and I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of good. But, like, he was an amazing defender, and the fact that they got rid of him for an old Vooch is so bad. That's even before they were going old too, because like they didn't have DeMar yet. They didn't have. Well, Zach is old, but like
he's not really old. He's what, like 26, 27?
He's 28, I think.
It's still not old.
No, it's not old.
Still not old. He's like in his prime.
You're trading away somebody that's out of their prime.
Yeah.
Somebody that could have just been reaching your prime during the time where you should be going for that championship. Because clearly you want to. Because clearly you made that move to go to that team. To go to that team that is going to contend. But then you trade away one of your better young players for somebody that has already reached their ceiling and is only going down.
Yeah. And it would have been different, I think, if they would have gotten a center that was decent defensively. Because, making a move like that, that's whatever. It happens all the time. I'm not mad at making a move like that, but Vooch was like the worst center for them to get in hindsight. Like, at the time, I was so hyped. Just because that's a big name, and the Bulls didn't have any big names. But, like, yeah, in hindsight, that move was terrible for them. Just terrible.
You probably could have gotten, like, a Mo Bamba, and it would have been better. Literally, Mo Bamba.
I would have loved Mo Bamba. Mohamed Bamba. Starting center for the Bulls. That just sounds right. I would have loved that. Would have loved that. Jesus Christ.
What
I
even did you
cannot
say?
talk. I
What was
tried to
that?
say would have loved that, and it just didn't come out correctly. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Let's see here. What else do I have written down? Oh, Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie, the games they had were stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Really stupid.
I didn't. I just know they put up big numbers. I don't know what happened in those games. I didn't watch them. I just saw that they were worth mentioning.
Yeah. I think Kyrie had 41 in the first half with 0 turnovers and ended up with 60 with 1 turnover.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Didn't they pull
And
Kyrie
Cat
too?
had 32 and a quarter.
32 and a quarter?
Yeah.
God damn. Now see. Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. When's Cat a free agent? When's his contract up?
Cat?
Mm-hmm. Isn't it like the next year or two?
I think so, but the Timberwolves would literally probably.
Okay, but like why?
Die.
Okay, but who wants to stay in Minnesota? Why would you stay in Minnesota?
Probably Karl Anthony Towns.
No, he wants to come to Chicago. Unfortunately, Karl
Probably
Towns.
not him.
Unfortunately, Karl Towns wants to be a Bull. I fear. I've spoken with his. Oh God, you just disappeared. Okay, now you're back. I've spoken with his people, and his people have told my people that he wants to be a Bull in the future. For a 12-year contract, that's $1 million per year.
That's crazy. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he wants to take a really, really team-friendly deal to ensure that the Bulls can play great.
It's probably like the most team-friendly thing ever.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, he's a great team player. Great team player. I also heard LeBron wants to come to the Bulls, but we don't want him. We told him no. Yeah, we have the real good LA forward, even though he hasn't played for an LA team. He just is from LA. We don't want LaFraudulent, I'm afraid. Yeah. Which, speaking of which, like, screw the Lakers, dude. I'm so happy they suck. But, like, this is my thing. This is one of my issues with LeBron, okay? The Lakers suck. Point blank period. They are a bad basketball team. But this year's going to be so good for LeBron's legacy because of all the milestones he's hitting. So LeBron's playing on a dog water team, but because he's putting up 30 a night, 40 a night, whatever, this season's going to be great for his legacy, but people aren't going to look back and look at how bad the team was. They're just going to be like, oh, LeBron, he passed Malone and he put up 50 points at the age of 37 and all that shit. If Jordan did that, people would be shitting on Jordan. If Jordan did something like that, if his team was bad like that and he was putting up 50 a night, he'd be selfish. He wouldn't be a team player. He'd be a ball hog. He'd be playing against plumbers. But because LeBron's doing it, he's the best of all time, and he's trying to carry a team that can't help him. I hate narratives. I hate NBA narratives so much, and I hate that they all favor LeBron James. I hate it. I hate LeBron James. He is my least favorite athlete in all of sports ever.
Right now, without the play-in, the Lakers would be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that is held against Michael Jordan all the time. But let's bring it into the freaking spotlight.
Yeah.
God. Let's bring it in the spotlight right now. He missed the playoffs his first year at the Lakers, and he's going to miss the playoffs. Well, we might not miss the playoffs this year, but he is in the play-in this year.
Yeah.
Which is basically missing the playoffs.
He's in the Mickey Mouse playoff booster. That's what the play-ins are. They're the Mickey Mouse playoff boosters.
Yeah. But an actual criticism that I do have of LeBron and of the media that surrounds LeBron is that, like, right now LeBron doesn't care. Like, there's so many clips of LeBron this year doing something, then giving up on the play and not running back on defense. And that has been the issue with the Lakers as a whole. They are just they don't care enough, and they're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an issue that plagues LeBron the most, and he gets the least amount of crap for it. Like, there's so many clips of him Like he literally like will make like a bad pass or something, or somebody like takes a shot and misses, which is a normal thing in basketball. You miss more shots than you make statistically in the NBA, and then he's not getting back on defense, and nobody's talking about it. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's so bad," and not like, "Oh, look at him not doing this."
No, they just care about him putting up 50 points and passing Karl Malone on the all-time points thing and whatnot. You'd never see Jordan doing that ever. Jordan never took a play off. Jordan never didn't go back on defense. But God forbid he didn't play for the Lakers in his late 30s and put up 50 points in his late 30s, which I'm pretty sure Jordan actually did do that with the Wizards.
Like 42.
Yeah, he was in his. Yeah, exactly. Jordan was doing the same shit. Maybe not as high of a volume. Jordan also had other like really good players on the team that were playing well. I know that might be a little bit of a stretch. Who was it he was playing with? There was another guard he was playing with on the Wizards. Name's completely escaping me.
Gilbert Arenas? Question mark.
Probably it wasn't Gilbert Arenas. It was before Arenas.
Before Arenas.
Wallace, maybe?
Who?
No. Hold on. This is gonna bother me.
Oh my god.
I was thinking Rasheed Wallace. That's not it. That is not it. That is not it. There was somebody. Like, Jordan was not the only player on that team. Richard Hamilton! That's who it was. It was Richard Hamilton. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. God, I'm a Bulls fan. I should have known that. I'm stupid. Yeah. Like Jordan wasn't the only guy on that team, so it wasn't even like he was the first option. He was still putting up like 50 a night in his 40s. But no, LeBron's doing it when he's 37. When you're comparing the greatest of all time, someone pointed this out to me recently, and I think it's a really good take. You should compare their prime. If you're trying to determine who's the better basketball player, compare their primes, not their longevity. Like, sure, longevity matters, but if you're looking at purely who was the better basketball player, who was the greater basketball player, take prime Jordan, which was pretty much all of Jordan, versus prime LeBron, and he's out of his prime at this point. And prime Jordan is going to blow prime LeBron out of the water. Maybe not blow him out of the water. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but he's better. Point blank period. Final point, LeBron bad, Jordan good, Lakers bad, I'm happy. Of course. And Steph Curry got hurt. We got to talk about Steph Curry. He's like out until the playoffs, right?
Yeah. And I hate that so much because it happened against the Celtics.
Did it?
It happened with Marcus Smart. And I hate that people are saying that it's a dirty play. I hate that so much.
What even happened?
Marcus Smart has always been that guy to die for a ball, and there was a loose ball, and Steph Curry didn't dive for it, and Marcus Smart did dive for it, and it caught Steph's ankle and like foot under the ball or whatever, and it that gotta hurt. But like
that's not a dirty play.
Steph dives for that ball, he's fine.
Yeah, that's not a dirty play. That's just a high-effort basketball player colliding with somebody. That happens. It's basketball.
Dirty play is like what Grayson Allen did.
Yeah.
High-effort play is what Marcus Smart did.
Yeah, exactly. That sucks for Steph, though, because, like, he had an MVP case, didn't he? Or did he fall off? I haven't been watching him.
He had a slump, and he was just getting out of it. Now he's
Gotcha. Yeah, I knew he had a slump. We talked about the slump. But who do you think is going to win MVP? Because it's not DeMar now, so I don't care.
No, I have been thinking about this for a while. I think MVP is either Jokic or Giannis. I think DPOY, even though people are saying Rudy Gobert again, I think that it's got to be Giannis. Giannis is nuts. And I think that for how good he is, he doesn't have enough awards to show for it.
Giannis?
Like, you're telling me, yeah.
Okay.
Like Rudy Gobert's defense is really good on the interior. Absolutely amazing. Probably the best in the league.
But he's bad on the perimeter, right?
Exactly. He's bad on the perimeter. You know who's not bad on the perimeter?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's like what I literally was saying a couple minutes ago in my head was like, if there's a defensive most valuable player, then it's Rudy Gobert, because Rudy Gobert to the Jazz is like their only good defensive player. They're like best defense in the league with him on the court, worst defense in the league without him on the court. But that's not what their award is about. Their award is
Right.
about just sheer defensive talent, and Giannis is that guy.
So if it's sheer defensive talent, you're telling me anyone but Nikola Vucevic should get it.
Yes.
But no, yeah, I totally agree. I absolutely agree. Giannis is a far better, more versatile defender than Gobert. I think Gobert is an overrated defender because of that. The dude isn't a versatile defender. Yeah, he's just a big dude that plays down low. A lot of guys can do that. That doesn't set him apart. And he used to be kind of underrated, but now he's gotten to the point where he's overrated. He hit that weird thing that happens here and there where a player's underrated to the point where everyone starts to call them underrated, so they become overrated. And that's yeah. Plus, he's a piece of shit. We hate Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert canceled the NBA. He's not a piece of shit. He's just an idiot. That was a little harsh. Yeah, that was a little harsh. I'm sorry, Rudy Gobert. You're not a piece of shit. You're just a silly, goofy little guy that canceled the NBA. But yeah, as long as Embiid doesn't win MVP, I'm happy. I don't like Embiid.
I think he's having a great season, but I don't think he's having a nearly good enough season to beat out Jokic and Giannis.
Yeah. Now, do you think voter fatigue is going to screw with Giannis this year?
I hope it doesn't. I really don't think it should, but it probably will. And I made a video about this and I posted it. It's so dumb because so many people, like Michael Jordan had 6 MVPs. And I don't think, if he played today, I don't think he'd get those just because of voter fatigue. Because you're telling me, like, the only person who won back-to-back MVPs in the past however many years is Giannis. And that might not ever happen again. Because you're going to have, like, Giannis is good again. Kevin Durant is good again. Jokic is good again. Jokic might win MVP again. But then you have Joel Embiid here, who might steal that away from him. You might have Giannis take it away from him. I think voter fatigue is so stupid. I don't understand why it works that way. I don't like how it works. I think that the player that is most deserving of it should get it every time, no matter what.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Voter fatigue is so stupid. And I would almost argue it was prevalent back in the day as well. Like, I think realistically, and maybe this is my bias coming out, Jordan should have had more than 6. He played 13 years in the NBA.
My bad. He had 5.
Yeah, he had 6 finals MVPs. 5 MVPs. So he definitely should have had more than 5 because he played, what was it, 13 years total? So he played 2 with the Wizards and 11 with Chicago. Something like that.
I think that's, yeah.
Out of those 11 years, Jordan was the best player in the NBA more than 5 times.
Yeah.
But
he had an instance where he was still in like the 1991 to the 1997 season when he was like really good. Charles Barkley stole an MVP from him in that time.
Yeah, listen. I love Charles Barkley. He's great. I like Charles Barkley now. I would have hated Charles Barkley when he played because Charles Barkley when he played was an asshole. But he did not deserve an MVP over Michael Jordan at all. There's no chance. And I know Chuck had a really good year the year he won it, but either way. But the main point is voter fatigue's ridiculous. It screws over a lot of people. It hurts a lot of legacies. And I really hope that doesn't happen with Giannis because I want Giannis to retire as the best international player ever. I love Giannis. Yeah. He's one of my – as a Bulls fan, I love Giannis. I hate that he plays for the Bucks. But I love Giannis.
I would probably give an arm and a leg to have him on the Celtics. Literally, I would probably cut off my arm and my leg right now if it ensured that they would have him on the team this year.
Well, unfortunately, Giannis is going to end up signing with the Bulls whenever his contract's up.
That was an actual rumor, though.
It was.
Has been a rumor.
I know. Yeah. I know. because people thought Giannis wanted to go to a bigger market, which he should have. He should have come to the Bulls, and then we could have had him, and we could have had DeMar, and we could have had Zach, and our team would go 82-0. But no.
Literally, that might be the thing that would have happened. Actually, it might have been like 73-9.
Yeah.
That would have been nuts.
But see, God, I'm blanking. It's Adam Silver now, right? The commissioner? Yeah, Adam Silver said no. He went to Giannis secretly. Giannis's people told my people that he went to Giannis secretly and said, "You're not allowed to go to Chicago. It's unfair for the league, and I have an agenda to push that Chicago is bad." Yeah. And Adam Silver also told Vucevic to stop playing defense. So Adam Silver just hate the Bulls.
Cash.
No, not under the table cash. He just threatened to kill his family.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's Silver has an anti-Bulls agenda, I'm afraid. And that can be confirmed with that stupid like metaverse commercial he did. Listen, I hate Adam Silver for that. Did you see that?
No.
The stupid like metaverse not to get too off topic, but the metaverse basketball coach thing.
Yo, what?
You didn't see that?
No.
So basically basically the concept is you get a VR headset and you put on the VR headset and you pay to have a personal basketball coach voiced by Shaq that'll teach you basketball through VR. And it's like the actually more expensive than like an average personal trainer.
Huh.
Why in the hell would you get a virtual basketball coach? like it's supposed to judge you. You're supposed to like basically air dribble a basketball and do air moves with a basketball, and it's supposed to teach you basketball.
That's so bad.
It's so stupid. And Adam Silver endorsed it. They did a reveal stream, and Adam Silver was up on the stage. He introduced it, and Shaq was there, and the coach came up, and it was they did like a big projection of like a 3D model or whatever, and it's Shaq's voice. So I'm sure they paid Shaq a shit ton of money for it because he wouldn't have done that normally.
Yeah, he's just making money moves, man. I love Shaq.
I do too. Mm-hmm. I think we've talked about that on here before, just how great of a guy Shaq is. He's just a wonderful human. I love all the stories of him, like, just going out of his way to give people stuff. Like the woman who's buying laptops for her kids, he bought her a bunch. And then, have you seen the one video where a kid was crying in a shoe store and Shaq bought him shoes?
Yeah.
That was great.
Bro, I want to be Shaq one day. He's like my idol.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Oh, listen, speaking of Shaq, I got a funny story. So, my mom works at the USPS, the United States Postal Service. And one of the guys she works with is an older guy. He's been there for a while. And his daughter works at a bar down in Florida, I think. And Shaq goes in there all the time. So she knows Shaq. She's a bartender. So her and Shaq know each other. Well, he goes down to visit his daughter, not knowing this. And he's sitting at the bar. His daughter's working. They're talking. Shaq walks in, sits down, looks over at him. He goes, "Oh, you must be whatever her name is, Father." And they're talking for a couple minutes. And he goes, "Do you want to go for a ride in my car?" He got in Shaq's car and drove around with him in Florida, spent the whole day with him. I just thought that was a really wholesome story. But he said watching Shaq get into the car, he has to pick his leg up and throw it over and then grab his other leg and do the same thing because he's so big. Yeah. He has like some convertible because obviously his head isn't going to fit in a normal car. But he has to literally pick his legs up to put him in the car, which is hysterical. But yeah, Shaq's a great dude. I love Shaq. I absolutely adore Shaq. What else? What else is there to talk about? We can talk about the Batman because we've both seen it now.
Oh.
All right, Andrew, how did you feel about the movie? I'll let you talk first.
I think it might be the hottest take I've ever shared on any platform. I think it is easily better than The Dark Knight.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. I agree.
Oh my god, it's easily, I think it's the best comic book movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Best Batman ever. Second best villain ever. No, not ever, because you have like Thanos.
I mean, if you want to go Batman villain, it's the second best portrayal of a Batman villain in live action. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and that's nuts to think about
Mhm.
because like Paul Dano does so good, but Heath Ledger's better. Like
I
you,
mean, Heath
like
Ledger is Heath Ledger. He was born to play the Joker, but Paul Dano
I
killed
think
it.
I think it's probably the prettiest movie I've ever seen,
Yeah, it
and
was
it's supposed to
very
be.
aesthetically pleasing. I agree wholeheartedly.
There are so many scenes where I was just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
And everything like it's the type of movie where like something happens and you're like, oh my god, please do this, I will freak out, and
Yeah.
then he does it, and then you're like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
it's
I don't have a single complaint with that movie whatsoever. I don't have a single one. The scene at the end, or towards the end, where Batman confronts the Riddler when the Riddler's in prison, that is on par with the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. I don't care what anyone
yes,
says. It is on par with it. It's such a great scene. Paul Dano really like
I
he just gets
he
into
leans
it.
into it,
It's
he
so
leans into
good.
it.
And I love just like this is ironic considering who we are, but like the sort of cringe factor of him being like an online influencer. They play into
Yeah,
that so well. You know, he's like a mouth breather, and he breaks up his words, and he can't speak correctly. Like I love it. It's perfect.
it's like specifically in that prison scene, I
Mm-hmm.
love that he says Bruce Wayne like that, and I
Mm-hmm.
love that Batman's like, oh no, bro.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's he doesn't know who he is. He was just saying his name.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! The beginning scene. Oh my god! I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. He said when he says it's not a symbol. He said it's not a symbol. I was like, please, please, dear God, say it's a warning. And then he said it, and I was like, oh. And that whole scene, just the fact that they're like scared of the shadows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really well done. That
The
was
guy
really well
drops
portrayed.
the spray can,
Yeah,
and then he doesn't go after it
yeah. The
like
spray
a
can
little
rolls into
kid.
the shadows. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool. It's so cool.
I love. First of all, the "I am vengeance." It going full circle because Bruce says it at the beginning, Batman says it at the beginning, and then the Riddler goon says it at the end, and Bruce is like, "Oh shit!
Oh
I am responsible here a little bit."
no.
Um,
Oh my.
the only complaint I've seen with Pattinson, Robert Pattinson, by the way, perfect Batman. I cannot believe we're in a world where Edward from Twilight is probably the best live action adaptation of Batman we've ever seen. The only
That's
issue I've
crazy.
seen is that people don't like that he's scrawny, and I don't understand why.
He's not even scrawny.
No,
He's like
no,
a
but
normal
yeah,
build of a
yeah, but
person.
he's not like the normal jacked Batman everyone's used to seeing. But like, it's just a different approach. Because Batman's one of those characters. First of all, Batman's one of my favorite superheroes. He's one of those characters that's so malleable because there's been so many interpretations and adaptations of Batman to where you can't mess it up unless you like go out of your way to mess it up or like you don't read the material at all.
Yeah.
So like Bruce Wayne being a little bit leaner, he's instead of just focusing on brute force, he went for more of a quick, he wants to hit his enemies before they can get to him rather than just overpower them. And that's a good approach. It's just a different way for him to build different training. Uh, Speaking of which, with the training, Andy Serkis, however you say his name, is Alfred. Perfect. Absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
Just as a whole, the casting in this movie was amazing. It was so perfect. Um, oh, the Joker scene.
The what
The
scene? You lied a little bit.
the Joker scene where they tease the Joker. Dude,
Yeah.
listen, listen. Okay, funniest story about that. So I went to go see the movie with a big group. It was Josh, Moss, Mitch, like a whole bunch of us. And I'm sitting next to Moss, and Mitch is on the other side of Moss. And when that comes up, Mitch leans over to Moss and goes, "Here comes the obligatory Joker scene." Like he was complaining, he didn't seem like he liked the movie as much. So he was like, "Here comes the obligatory Joker scene to set up a sequel," and then it happens. And I audibly yell, oh, or not yell, but I'm audibly like, oh, fuck, it's the Joker. And I just think the dynamic between two people sitting 2 seats apart from each other enjoying that scene differently is funny. Because I was so hyped. When, like, so it's pretty obvious that it's the Joker at first, but in my mind, I was like, there's no way. I was trying to convince myself it was like Scarecrow or something. But then he leans up a little bit and you can see his smile. It's like, oh shit. And then his laugh comes out. His laugh was really good. I think the actor is the dude who... Have you seen Eternals?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
But I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a dude in that movie. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he plays Druig in that movie. And I'm pretty sure he's playing the Joker. Hold on, I'll look up his name.
It's Keoghan. His last name is Keoghan.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, he killed it. Barry Keoghan. Yep, that's his name.
Nuts.
Yeah, without even seeing his face, he killed the performance. Zoe Kravitz was perfect as Catwoman. Absolutely perfect. Dude, she is
so good.
She is stunning, dude. And she brought her... I really liked this portrayal of Selena Kyle. I really did. Her, she got the attitude, like, down perfectly. Like, she just killed it. And then, I really like that the story played a lot into the crime families in Gotham, because I feel like that doesn't get a lot of attention anymore, because it's normally just like, oh, he's fighting his rogues gallery or whatever. But the Falcones and, oh my God, I can't remember the other family. The two main crime families. The Falcones is the important one, because that's what they focus on in the movie. The Maronis. The Falcones and the Maronis. I'm a big Batman nerd, so them getting a spotlight is so good, and I loved it. Carmine Falcone being such a big part of that movie, and then the twist that Thomas Wayne was working with him, and Alfred, like, puts the twist on its head and is like, he wasn't actually working with him, he had blackmail on him and all that kind of shit. It was just such a good story, and like you said, it was so visually appealing. When he drives the Batmobile through the flames when he's chasing the Penguin, that was like the coolest thing ever.
Bro, talking about specific scenes and specific shots, actually. First scene of the movie, I think it was the Riddler in the DA's, not DA's office, in the mayor's office.
In his house. It wasn't the office; it was his house.
When he's standing watching the TV and he moves away and he's there, I was like,
yeah.
And then he hits him with the bro.
Yeah. Okay. And then coming back. Oh my God, I'm frozen. Listen, him killing him with the carpet tool. And then that turning into how the Riddler was going to show Batman the map. Holy shit. This movie was like prime. Nice. Listen, not enough Batman material nowadays plays into the fact that he's the world's greatest detective. And this movie blew it out of the water. Like, even in the first scene, just him getting the riddle instantly and everyone looking at him like he's crazy. And I did love that this is still a Batman that the Gotham PD isn't necessarily super supportive of, where they're all like, are you really going to let this guy in the crime scene? Do you really trust this guy? And then they cornered him after he got blown up in the town hall or whatever. They had him cornered in the whatever it was, the police barracks somewhere, their medical room or whatever. And he was like fighting cops. I just loved it. It was such a good portrayal of Batman. And I'm so excited to see where they take it, because it's going to be a trilogy. They set up a sequel already, because you can't just leave it where Gotham's half underwater and Selena Kyle dipped. Speaking of which, okay, I keep branching off into things, but this movie was just so good. There were so many good details. Selena Kyle name-dropping Bloodhaven. Do you know what Bloodhaven is?
No.
So, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, who is my favorite comic book character of all time. Him and Batman don't see eye to eye. Like, Dick grows up under Batman and then eventually realizes Bruce is kind of like messed up in the head. And he wants to branch off. He's sick of being his sidekick. He wants to be his own person. So he takes up the mantle of Nightwing and goes to Bloodhaven, which is his Gotham. So Bloodhaven is like where he's fighting crime. And when that happens, he takes a different approach than Bruce. He does a lot of like charity work, and he rebuilds the city and pays for hospitals and that kind of thing. That got me so excited, because I was wearing a shirt when I went to see the movie that said, it was like Bloodhaven School of Acrobatics or something. It's a Nightwing shirt. I was like, oh shit, because they're setting up that there's like an actual, like, Gotham's not just Gotham, like it's surrounded by other places, and not enough just plain Batman material talks about Bloodhaven. Like I said, I'm a big Batman nerd. I love Batman, and just seeing all the little stuff thrown in there, little references to different stories, like the fact that Selina is the daughter of Carmine Falcone. That's not something that's talked about a lot. That's really only in one story. So the fact that it got thrown in there made me so excited. And I don't know. I just love that movie. It was so good.
Yeah.
They managed to make a 3-hour movie good, like with no boring parts, no skips and anything. Because I was on the edge of my seat the whole movie.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I just can't get over the fact that they really played into the detective stuff. The Riddler's riddles were so good. The different stuff like, real quick, the Penguin was amazing.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell playing the Penguin was perfect. The scene where they're interrogating him and he goes like full stereotypical Italian. He's like, "What the fuck do you want from me?" You know, like that's not what he says, but you know, he gets like full stereotypical Italian. That was peak Penguin. The Penguin is such a great Batman villain. I don't know. I'm just so excited to see where they take it because they got to do the sequel, and with the timeline they've set up, this is year 2 Batman, and I think it's between years 2 and 3, like year 2 and 3 of him being Batman. That's when he gets Robin. So if we get a sequel with Robin, I'm gonna go fucking ballistic because that's my boy.
I'll go nuts.
We have had 2 live action adaptations of Dick Grayson, and the first one was in the goofy Tim Burton Batman movies of like the 90s, and they sucked. Yeah. It was 3. Sorry, 3. The other one was like the OG Adam West Batman, and like that was good. That was like, yeah, like your Silver Age or Golden Age, whatever you call it, type of Robin, and that's fine. And then the other one is that Titan show that's like CW Batman or CW Teen Titans, and it sucks. And I hate that because Dick Grayson and Batman both have their no-kill rule where they refuse to kill. And Dick Grayson kills like 8 people in that show, and they completely devolve from the character. It's just bad. It's just really bad. I want a real live-action adaptation of Dick Grayson that isn't silly, goofy, gee Willikers Batman type of guy. Like, I want the real serious, witty Dick Grayson that you see in like Young Justice and Teen Titans. And I genuinely think this franchise can give us that, and that makes me so excited. And that gives you the potential to do spin-off movies. Like, I don't want them to go full MCU, obviously, and start like a connected universe, because you don't need that. But if they do like 3 movies or like a trilogy for Robert Pattinson as Batman, and then you do a side movie with Nightwing, and then I know they're already doing the Batgirl movie, and I don't know if that's supposed to be connected or not. Maybe it's not. But they could do that. You know, just like 1 or 2 spin-off movies. I know they're already doing shows. We're getting a show about the Penguin and a show about Arkham just as a whole, the Arkham Asylum, which is dope as hell. Dope. I love that. That show, they said it started off as a Gotham TV show, and then it just turned into like a horror show about Arkham Asylum, which is so cool. I don't know. I'm just excited. I love the direction they took that Batman movie, and I'm so excited to see what comes after it. Do you have anything else you want to add there?
No, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Best comic book movie ever. Best Batman movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good episode too.
Good episode when I finally got my thoughts together. Because I did a lot of rambling at the beginning.
By the way, I think this is episode 10 of the podcast.
Really? Let's find out. I haven't kept track.
Unless I'm counting wrong.
Let's find out. God, I'm losing my voice. We've been talking too long.
So I think it's been like 2 hours, actually.
This will be episode 8.
8?
But this will be the 10th video on the channel. Because the 2 mock drafts, which I'm posting a third of this week, which has been hell trying to keep track of, because the NFL refuses to stop making things happen. Let's hear. Oh, did you go through and look at the thumbnails I made?
No, now I'm kind of scared.
No, I'm pretty proud of the thumbnails I made. I'm actually pretty proud of them. They're generic looking, but like generic in a decent enough way.
Yeah. Dude, we're 49 subscribers too.
49 subscribers, hell yeah.
Yo!
See, they're not bad.
They're not bad.
I have no idea how to do graphic design, but like they're decent.
They are decent.
They are decent.
They're quite decent. They're quite decent.
I'll be able to. What will I do for this one? I'll like slap you on there and slap the. Do I have one of you looking spooked? Because I'll slap like you on there with the Batman and like Mitch Trubisky in a Steelers jersey.
I think that would be a little bad.
That's a little
Absolutely horrified.
Just you looking absolutely horrified with Mitch Trubisky in a Steelers jersey and the Batman. I think, hold on, real quick, just randomly, I think my favorite thumbnail is the one of, like, it's, I might be a little bit biased. I'm on this one, but that's not why I love it so much. It's the divisional round one. But if you look, that was the one where we talked about the all-star starters. So Andrew Wiggins is like popping his head out of the corner. Because I put Mahomes and Josh Allen on the cover. Or as the main ones. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta put Wiggins in there somewhere. So he's just got like his head popping off the side of the screen.
Yeah, I see it. Great touch, man. Great touch.
See, I'm learning. I'm trying to develop things. We're trying to, we got thumbnails now. We've got a Twitter account now, which you should all go follow. Yeah, you need to go follow that. It's at Hot and Cold Sports. That is Hot N, the letter N, Cold Sports on Twitter. You should go follow it. We're going to post updates on there.
While we're talking about following things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, subscribe. Speaking of which, Andrew, thank you for reminding me. Do you remember what happened last episode when we were talking about getting new followers?
That joke we were making? Yeah, that joke.
Yeah, that joke we were making, that was not a joke. It was actually a legitimate thing where we said you were going to dance for 1 minute for every new subscriber. And we gained, 12 new subscribers?
I think it's more than that now. I think it's literally 18.
Yeah. You think maybe not 18 more minutes because we're kind of at the end here, but you'll give us a little something?
Okay. Okay.
Oh God. But like the way you said okay, I'm kind of scared now. He's moving the chair out of the way. Can't see his head. Now you can see his head. Kind of. Oh no.
Those hips don't lie.
That's facts. They don't.
We might get demonetized for that, man. Oh, no.
Well, you are a minor. Nobody get too excited. He's underage.
Calm down. Hey.
I'm going to have to censor it now. You idiot. You big dumb idiot. I'm going to have to censor the YouTube video. Even though I don't know how to edit. I have no idea.
Censor that.
I have no idea how to edit, but I'm going to have to set it. I'm going to have to figure out how to censor it.
Censor that. It'll make it so much funnier.
If I knew how to, I would. Maybe I'll send it to somebody to get them to censor it.
That's great. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Oh my God, this episode has been all over the place. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It always is. It always is.
Yeah, we were real professional last week. We had a real professional interview, and now we've got you doing horrendous, unspeakable acts on camera for more views and more subscribers. Prostituting yourself for YouTube subs.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's how you get big on YouTube. Nope, I'm not going to go that far. Because that is actually what a lot of big YouTubers do.
Yeah, man. We don't worry about that. We don't worry about that.
Yeah. Speaking of subscribers, though, I got to remind everybody over 60% of our viewers are still not subscribed. Let's fix that. Andrew's not going to dance again. He ruined that. He can't do that anymore. That's inappropriate.
What?
Yeah. How about if Desiree Witt will not let you do it on the stage, you can't do it on the podcast, Andrew.
Shoot.
No, but in all seriousness, we do encourage you guys to subscribe. It's very important that you do. We're not doing this for numbers, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty nice.
They're not too bad.
Yeah, they're not too shabby. We're going to continue to do it regardless because we're weird and put our opinions out on the internet, but it would be pretty cool if more people enjoyed it. We like I don't want to flex. I'm not trying to flex because it's TikTok and TikTok's weird. But I started talking about football a little bit over there. There's like 4,500 people that like it. If we can get that over here on YouTube, and maybe one day we can make a couple bucks off of it.
Just a little money, just a little.
Just a little bit. Perhaps get me better recording equipment. Perhaps. I'm just kidding. This is not about money. But getting a
No, but it is.
maybe for Andrew. Andrew. Yeah.
I'm only in it for my massive salary that I get.
Your massive salary, yeah. We're not even eligible for money yet.
Not even.
I don't even know what the requirement is, to tell you the truth, but I know not hitting 100 views on a video and having less than 50 subs is not it.
It's 10,000 followers, and I think literally like 100,000 monthly views. So we're not
on YouTube.
I think so.
There's no way it's that high. That's like maybe TikTok.
I think that is TikTok, and I'm getting confused.
Yeah. On YouTube, you need 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours in the past 365 days.
Well, okay, we're actually way closer than that. Hit that subscribe
button. We're way closer.
We have
49 button. Subscribers. We're like, what's that? Like a 20th of the way there? I don't know. I'm bad at math. I suck at math. Yeah, in all seriousness, in the description, there's always links to follow me on TikTok, follow Andrew on TikTok, follow me on Twitter, follow him on Twitter. And I'm going to start putting the Twitter for this account in there. That'll be important because we post updates. When we have a late podcast episode like this, we'll tweet out on there. Maybe eventually we want to do a Q&A type thing on here. We answer some questions. We'll have you send them in on Twitter because it's the easiest way to do it. But yeah, Andrew, if you don't have anything else to add, I don't have anything else to add. My computer's kind of yelling at me, so I think it's time for us to stop. You just disappeared for a second. That was the computer being like, you're done. So yeah. This was an episode of the podcast. It wasn't a good one. It wasn't a bad one. It was just an episode. Keep an eye out later this week. I will have a mock draft up. My 3.0 mock draft with a second round. We're getting a little frisky, mainly because I want to talk about the Bears in a mock draft video. But yeah, that is all from us. Andrew, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.